Hello, fellow gardeners. Welcome to Sustainable Living Studio, Organic Pest Control Series. Let's talk about kicking pests to the curb naturally. Today's secret weapon, trap crops. These garden superheroes protect your precious veggies by luring pests away. Trap crops are a win-win. You get healthy plants and a chemical-free garden. Plus, you'll attract beneficial insects that help with pollination. Ready to discover the magic of trap cropping? Let's dive in. Think of a trap crop as a decoy. It's a plant that pests find irresistible, even more so than your main crops. They'll flock to the trap crop, leaving your prized tomatoes and lettuce alone. How does it work? Trap crops use their powers of seduction in a few ways. Some trap crops release a powerful aroma that pests can't resist. Others offer a tastier meal or a more appealing place to lay eggs. The best part, trap crops are a natural form of pest control. They fit perfectly into integrated pest management, a sustainable approach to gardening. Now let's meet some of our trap crop heroes. These plants are not just beautiful additions to your garden. They serve a crucial role in pest management. By attracting pests away from your valuable crops, they act as decoys, ensuring your main plants stay healthy and productive. Nasturtiums. These cheerful flowers are like magnets for aphids. Their bright, vibrant blooms are irresistible to these tiny pests. Aphids can cause significant damage to your crops by sucking the sap from the plants, leading to stunted growth and even plant death. Plant them near your tomatoes, cucumbers or kale and watch the aphids flock to the nasturtiums instead. This way, your main crops are spared from the aphid invasion, allowing them to thrive and produce bountiful harvests. Marigolds. Known for their sunny disposition, marigolds repel a whole gang of bad guys, including nematodes, whiteflies and even some small rodents. These pests can cause root damage, leaf discoloration and overall plant stress. Plant them around your vegetable garden as a protective border. Their strong scent acts as a natural deterrent, keeping these unwanted visitors at bay and ensuring your vegetables grow strong and healthy. Blue Hubbard squash bugs can be a real nuisance. These pests feed on the sap of squash plants, causing wilting and potentially killing the plants if left unchecked. But fear not, Blue Hubbard squash comes to the rescue. By planting these large squash, you can attract squash bugs away from your other squash varieties, making it easier to manage and control their population. These large squash attract and trap squash bugs, making them easy to remove. Regularly check and remove the bugs from the Blue Hubbard squash to keep your garden pest-free. Radishes. Flea beetles are tiny but mighty pests that can wreak havoc on your leafy greens. These small jumping insects chew small holes in the leaves, which can lead to reduced photosynthesis and weakened plants. Radishes act like a tasty distraction, drawing flea beetles away from your spinach and lettuce. By sacrificing a few radish plants, you can protect your more valuable leafy greens, ensuring a healthy and productive garden. Timing is everything, setting up your trap crops. Timing is key when it comes to trap cropping. The success of your trap crops largely depends on when you plant them. If you plant them too late, they won't be effective in luring pests away from your main crops. Conversely, if you plant them too early, they might not be as attractive when your main crops are at their most vulnerable stage. Therefore, it's crucial to synchronize the planting of your trap crops with the growth cycle of your main crops. You want your trap crops to be up and growing before your main crops. This ensures that the pests are drawn to the trap crops first, giving your main crops a better chance to grow without being attacked. It's a strategic move that requires careful planning and timing. This way, the pests are already drawn to the trap crops when your main crops start to flourish. Spacing matters too. Proper spacing ensures that the trap crops are effective in attracting pests without competing too much with your main crops for resources like sunlight, water, and nutrients. Planting your trap crops around the perimeter of your garden or interspersing them among your main crops will create a protective barrier. This barrier can significantly reduce the number of pests that reach your main crops. Additionally, intercropping can help in diversifying the ecosystem of your garden, making it more resilient to pest invasions. Don't forget about the sun. Sunlight is essential for the growth of all plants, including trap crops. Without adequate sunlight, your trap crops won't thrive and they won't be as effective in attracting pests away from your main crops. Just like your main crops, trap crops need adequate sunlight to thrive. ensure that your trap crops receive at least 6 hours of sunlight each day. This will help them grow strong and healthy, making them more attractive to pests. Make sure you choose a sunny spot for your trap crops. A well-lit area will not only help your trap crops grow better, but also make them more visible and appealing to pests. By carefully selecting the location and timing of your trap crops, you can create an effective pest management strategy that protects your main crops and ensures a bountiful harvest. Extra layers of protection: companion planting with trap crops. Want to boost your pest control even further? Combine trap cropping with companion planting. Companion planting involves growing different plants together that benefit each other. For instance, basil is a fantastic companion plant for tomatoes. It repels tomato hornworms, whiteflies, and aphids. Plant basil alongside your tomatoes and add some marigolds nearby for extra protection. Chives are another great companion plant. They deter aphids and other pests while attracting beneficial insects like ladybugs that prey on aphids. Plant chives near your carrots, lettuce, or roses. The trap has been sprung monitoring and maintaining your decoy crops. Once your trap crops are in place, it's important to keep a watchful eye on them. These decoy plants are your first line of defense against pests, and their effectiveness depends on your vigilance. By regularly monitoring these plants, you can catch pest problems early before they spread to your main crops. This proactive approach can save you a lot of trouble and ensure a healthier garden overall. Regularly inspect your trap crops for signs of pest infestation. Look for telltale signs such as chewed leaves, discolored spots, or the presence of insects themselves. Use tools like magnifying glasses to get a closer look at the undersides of leaves and stems where pests often hide. Document your findings in a garden journal to track pest activity over time. This will help you understand pest patterns and improve your pest management strategies. If you see a large number of pests on your trap crops, it's a sign that they're doing their job. These plants are successfully attracting pests away from your main crops. However, a high pest population on your trap crops also means it's time to take action. You can either remove the infested plants to prevent pests from spreading, or leave them in place to continue their role as decoys. The choice depends on the severity of the infestation and your overall pest management plan. You can then choose to remove the affected trap crops or leave them in place to continue attracting pests. Removing infested plants can help reduce the overall pest population in your garden. Be sure to dispose of these plants properly to avoid spreading pests. On the other hand, leaving the trap crops in place can keep attracting pests away from your main crops, but it requires careful monitoring to ensure the pest population doesn't get out of control. Don't forget to water and fertilize your trap crops just like you would your main crops. Healthy trap crops are more attractive to pests, making them more effective decoys. Regular watering and fertilization ensure that these plants remain lush and vibrant, which in turn helps them fulfill their role in your pest management strategy. Neglecting your trap crops can lead to poor plant health, reducing their effectiveness and potentially allowing pests to move on to your main crops. Healthy trap crops are more effective at attracting and trapping pests. By maintaining their health, you ensure that they continue to serve as a strong line of defense for your garden. A thriving garden with well-maintained trap crops not only looks beautiful, but also functions efficiently in keeping pests at bay. Remember, the key to successful pest management lies in the consistent care and monitoring of all your plants, including your decoy crops. Happy trapping! Congratulations, you're now equipped with the knowledge to use trap crops like a pro. By incorporating these natural pest control methods, you'll be well on your way to a healthier and more abundant garden. Remember, every garden is unique. It may take some experimentation to find the trap crops and companion plants that work best for you. Don't be afraid to try different combinations and see what happens. Happy gardening!